Hello everyone and welcome back to Joy as It Flies. If you're new here, my name is Alyssa and I deal with the crochet side of this channel. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to be sharing a selection of crochet projects that will make fantastic Christmas gifts and decorations. And we're going to be starting off strong this week with these Crochet Holly Napkin Rings. To make these napkin rings, you are going to need any DK weight yarn in green. I'm using this acrylic yarn in the shade Avocado. You're also going to need a small amount of some DK weight yarn in red, a 4mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors and a darning needle. We're going to start making the leaves, and to do this you want to make a slip knot with your green yarn, which we can then pop onto our hook. From here we're going to chain 11. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through. Once you have your chain, we're going to find the second chain from your hook. So that's this one here. And into that we're going to make one single crochet. So insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop. Then yarn over and pull through both of those loops. Into the next chain you're going to make another single crochet. So again, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Into the next 2 chains you're going to make one half double crochet. So yarn over your hook, insert it into that next chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. Then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And again into the next chain make one half double crochet. Into the next 2 chains you're going to make one double crochet. So yarn over your hook, insert it into the next chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. Then yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops, and again into the next chain. Into the next 2 chains you're going to make one half double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and again into the next chain. Then into the next chain you're going to make one single crochet. So insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And that is the first half of our leaf done. So you can see that's the first side. We're now going to work on the other side of the chain to make the other side of our leaf. So you should have 1 chain remaining. Into this chain make 3 single crochet. So here's our first one. Back into that same chain we have our second single crochet. And then our third one. And if you're like me and you've got a bit of a gap, you can just pull that tail end and that will close that hole up. Now turn your work slightly so that you can work along the other side of your chain. So all the way along here. Now if you have a look at these little bumps, these are actually our stitches. This is what we're going to be working into. Now into this very first one here, we're going to make one single crochet. So under that very first bump, insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop. Then yarn over and pull through both loops. Into the next 2 chains, make one half double crochet. So yarn over, into the next one, yarn over and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and again into the next. Into the next 2 chains, make 1 double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook into that next chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2, and again into the next chain. Into the next 2 chains, make 1 half double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and again into the next. So you should have 2 chains left, these 2 here. Into both of those, make 1 single crochet. So into this one, and then finally into this last one here. And then to finish off this round, we're going to find the very first single crochet we made. So that's this stitch here. Insert your hook into it and make a slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through, and pull straight through the loop on your hook. And that is the end of the first round. So we're now going to make round 2, and in this round we're going to create the spikes for our leaves. So to do this, from where we finished round 1, you're going to begin by chaining 1. Then into the same stitch, you're going to make 1 single crochet. So right into that same stitch. Now from here, we're going to make a picot stitch. To do this, chain 3. And then you're going to slip stitch into the first of these chains, so technically the 3rd chain from your hook. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and pull straight through the loop on your hook. So that's a picot stitch. Then we're going to make a single crochet back into the same stitch. So right into there. And then we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. So this one here. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and pull straight through the loop on your hook. And that's our first spike. So we're going to just repeat this all the way around our leaf. So I'll do it a few more times with you. Into the next stitch, make 1 single crochet. Then we're going to make our picot stitch. So chain 3, and slip stitch back into the first of those chains. So just into that chain there. Then make another single crochet back into the same stitch. And then slip stitch into the next. So this one here. And that's our second spike. So go ahead, pause the video and work all the way around your leaf in this way until you have all of your spikes. And I'll meet you back when you've done that. So I'm just coming up to the end now. I'm making my picot stitch. Then I'll have my single crochet back in the same stitch, and then a slip stitch into the next. You'll see at this point that we have one stitch remaining. Now be careful, this line here, this stitch, that's the slip stitch from the previous row. We just have one stitch here that we're going to work into. Into this, you're going to make your final spike. So make your single crochet, then your picot stitch, then your single crochet back into the same stitch, and then we're going to make our final slip stitch into the very first single crochet we made. So it's this stitch right here. That's what we're going to work into. And that's just going to make the edge of our leaf nice and neat. So insert your hook into it and make your slip stitch. You can see that's joined these two spikes together. Then from here, chain one to fasten off. And you want to leave a nice long tail end because we're going to use it to sew with later. So you can cut your yarn and then you can pull that through. And that is our first leaf done. You can see. So you're going to go ahead and make 2 or 3 of these leaves. It's entirely up to you. You can make as many as you like. And I'll meet you back when you've done that and we'll start working on making the berries. So I've made both of my leaves, and I meant to say this earlier, but your leaves should have 11 spikes on them. Now we're actually going to go and put these to the side, and you now want to grab your red yarn. You can now, if you would prefer, make a magic ring and work into it, or you can use the method that I'm going to use. If you are, we're going to begin by making a slip knot, which we can pop onto our hook. And then from here, we are going to chain 2. So here's 1 and 2. Now into the first of these chains, we are going to make 6 single crochet. So if you've made a magic ring, you'll work into it. Otherwise, we're going to insert our hook into that first chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2. So you're going to make 6 single crochet in total. Once you have your 6 single crochet, you can pull your tail end just to close up any gaps. We're now going to make round 2, and for this round, we're simply going to make 1 single crochet into each of these 6 stitches. So our berries only have 2 rounds, and if it starts to curl inwards, don't worry, that's exactly what you want it to do. So into this very first stitch, insert your hook, and make a single crochet. So that's our first, then into the next. Here's 2 and so on until you've worked into each of those 6 stitches. Once you've done that, we're going to finish off by slip stitching into the next stitch, so this one here, and that's just going to neaten up the edge. So insert your hook and make a slip stitch. Then from here, chain 1 to fasten off, and again you want to leave a nice long tail end because we're going to use it to sew with. And then you can pop your berry out. Mine had folded inwards a little bit, so you can just wiggle that out and you'll see that that is our berry. So you want to go ahead and make between 3 and 5 of these. Again, you can make as many as you like, and I'll meet you back when you've done that. So I've made 4 berries in total, and again we're going to pop these to the side for a minute, and we're now going to work on the actual napkin ring part, so this bit here. And to do this we are going to need our green yarn again. Begin by making a slip knot, then pop that onto your hook. And from here we are going to chain 25. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through. Now if you'd like your napkin ring to be bigger or smaller, you can make more or less chains. It's entirely up to you. Once you have your 25 chains, we are going to find the second chain from our hook, so this one here. Starting in that chain, we are going to make 1 single crochet into every single chain along. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over, pull through 2. Then into the next, and so on all the way down your chain. There we are, that is the end of row 1. For rows 2 to 4, begin by chaining 1. This doesn't count as a stitch, and turn your work. Now if you have a look at your stitches, you can see that there's a front loop and a back loop. We are going to be working into the back loop only. Starting in the first stitch, you're going to make 1 single crochet into the back loop only of every stitch along your row. So into the first one, we have a single crochet, and then into every other stitch, working just into that back loop. So go ahead, pause the video, and work up until you have your 4 rows, and I'll meet you back when you've done that. There we are, I have my 4 rows completed, and we're now going to create the little end loop. So to do this, where you finished row 4, you're going to chain 10. From here, you're then going to slip stitch into the end stitch of the first row, so all the way over here. Insert your hook and make your slip stitch, and that's just going to join it together. Then from here, you can chain 1 to fasten off, and you can cut your yarn. And you can also then go ahead and sew in any tail ends that you might have. And there we are, that's this step done. So now all we have to do is assemble our pieces together. So you should have your berries, your napkin ring part, your leaves, and then you're also going to need your darning needle and your scissors. Now I'm just going to show you how we'll sew our pieces together. Taking the end of your napkin ring that doesn't have the loop, you're first going to sew your leaves to it. So you can just arrange these on top, just like this, however you like, and you can sew them on one at a time to the end of your napkin ring. Once you've then done this, you can then take your berries and you can arrange them on top first to see how you'd like them to sit, but then you're also going to sew those on one at a time on top of your leaves. So here's one I've already made. You can see they're just sewn on top. That's what it looks like on the back. So go ahead and sew those pieces together, and I'll meet you back when you've done that. And there we are, I've finished sewing my one all together, and this is what it's now looking like. And that is it. You can then go ahead and just sew in any remaining tail ends that you might have, and you then have your very own Holly napkin rings, which are perfect for Christmas. I really hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions or requests, let me know in the comments box down below. I'll see you all again next week in my next video, but until then, happy crocheting!